Hello, you're watching the solution overview for Armanino's Dynamic Insights, a purpose-built solution for Dynamics 365 for finance and operations, as well as for Dynamics AX. ERP systems are designed for processing of data and the workflow associated with it, not necessarily for reporting. Because of this, the ERP system will have a collection of many different tables, and then to organize these, I'll use the term of subledgers. So we have the sales subledger, purchase subledger, the inventory subledger, project subledger, and so on. And the information in these underlying tables will then be summarized and posted to the GL itself. So from an income statement standpoint, this would be a GL-based report, and you can see that we've got a total revenue figure of 2,148,646. So this would be the sum of all postings to the GL that were identified as being revenue. If you want to analyze that within the GL, you can see it based on a financial dimension. But if you want to see what you sold and who bought it, you have to go down to the subledger. And so in that case, you see that we have a different number. We see the 2,123,400, but you had to go down to the subledger in order to see the items that were sold and who bought it. So when you see a different number like this, like we have on this screen here, inevitably somebody in finance or accounting or IT is going to have to reconcile these to ensure that the report, the second report, the one that doesn't tie to the GL, that it is accurate. And then that results in lost time within an organization. So what we've done within our Dynamic Insight solution is to take a different approach. Rather than viewing the subledgers as its own pot of data and of information, we instead understand how those different subledgers will post into the GL itself. And we take that information and we bring it together through a series of integration steps to provide one single structure that allows you to start with a high-level GL-based report, but then drill down into the subledger information. So as an example of that, you can see that we have that same figure we saw on the income statement, the 2,148,646, but now you're able to see that broken down by customer, by GL journal, or by vendor transactions that are posted into those sales accounts. And you can also see item level details as well as information for transactions that are not coded to an item. So these could be free text invoices or other charges that exist on a sales invoice line. But in the end, all that information is brought together from the subledger and reconciled into the GL structure itself. So the idea of integration and a reconciliation applies not only to the GL side of the house, but it also applies to the inventory side. This is an example of what can be delivered from an inventory standpoint. So here we can see on-hand information from a historical standpoint, both for valuations as well as for quantities. And then you can see the effect of the supply that you have on order. So these would be the purchase orders that are outstanding, maybe transfer orders in between locations, and then the production of new finished goods. So all that information is going to increase your on-hand transactions, but you also are going to have demand on your inventory. So these are in the form of sales orders, and it transfers out of one location into another, and then the consumption of raw materials into your production orders. But all this information is brought together into a single environment, allowed for you to do that available to sell analysis that many companies need to be able to have. It also allows for you to do analysis of slow moving inventory, obsolete inventory, as well as on-time information from your vendors and to your clients. So this is just a high-level overview of the architecture of Dynamic Insights from a financial standpoint and inventory standpoint. Thank you.